What is going on, guys? Welcome to my second channel where I do whatever garbage I want. My name is Isaac, aka The Baddest, but that is not this channel. Today I'm here with another tier list. Today I'm going to be ranking all of the major Spider-Man movies, all of the live-action ones, and the Into the Spider-Verse one. Spider-Man is probably my favorite superhero, I would say. I'm not much of a comic book guy. I don't know that much about like the MCU and stuff. I'm not really that kind of person. But I love the Spider-Man movies, and I've always loved the character since I was very, very young. I would say out of superheroes, this is the character that I know the most about, that I understand the best, and that I enjoy the most. So, yeah, I'm going to rank all the movies in my humble opinion. Let me know what your favorite of these are, or least favorite, whatever you want, because I'm probably going to have a few opinions on here that people aren't going to agree with, but yeah, let's get into the tier list. So we got the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man 1, 2002, I think it is. I personally still think this is a fantastic movie. It's one of my favorites on this list. Green Goblin, great character, played by Willem Dafoe. So many quality memes, but also genuinely just one of the most perfectly portrayed villains in all of comic book movies, I would say. You know, there's Thanos is great. I forget the guy's name, but the guy who plays Loki is great. And I would say, Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker, obviously very good. But Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin is up there with the greats. Absolutely incredible. And Tobey Maguire, he was a bit old to play Spider-Man. Yeah, he looks a bit funny being in a high school. But I still think he's my favorite Spider-Man. He's dorky and he's nerdy, but he also, has a heart and has the heart of Spider-Man. And, I think he's perfect for the character, actually. I don't really have any problems with him. He just did look a bit funny to be in high school. So, yeah, I'm going to politely shove this into the S tier. I think it's one of the funniest. I think it has some of the most heartfelt moments. I think its villain is perfect. I think Tobey Maguire is great. I like everything about this movie, basically. You could argue, you could argue it's aged weirdly because the campiness of it isn't as, it's not that present in modern comic book films. The ridiculousness of it and the CGI and goofy shit like that. Maybe it hasn't aged good necessarily, but I'd argue it's still fun. Like it's a really fun movie. With the MCU, I like a lot of the MCU, but you kind of have to take it seriously. It's not often that playful, which is why I really like Guardians of the Galaxy because it is more playful. A lot of the time it's very serious. It's very, focused on the end goal, and there's not a lot of room for fun and goofy humor. There is sometimes with characters like Thor, but not all the time. This is just goofiness beyond belief, and I personally really like that. Spider-Man 2, it's always a debate in my head whether or not Spider-Man 1 is better or 2 is better. Spider-Man 2 has, I don't know if an equally as good villain, but a very good villain. Doc Ock is very well done in this. His arms are really well done. Like, it's funny how good the arms are portrayed in the film, the way they take control, and also just the way they move. It looks really good, which is weird because, again, the special effects in this trilogy, not that great. But there are two cases where they are obscenely good, and this is one of them. This one I would say is the most heartfelt of the trilogy as well. The train scene is very iconic, very well known, because it's so incredibly good. I think this really portrayed Spider-Man as a hero, with that train scene. It really shows how much he's willing to go to protect people. And again, I think Doc Ock being the villain is done very well, and then his sort of redemption at the very end is very good. Yeah, it's a very, very good movie. Not really sure how much I like the use of what the fuck is it, Harry Osborn. Because in this one he's like against Spider-Man, but it's not till the third one that he's really doing anything about it. So I don't really love that. It's still equally as funny, I would say. It's just as entertaining. But the villain isn't as good. It's more heartfelt. Yeah, it's hard to say which of these is better, in my opinion. Heartfelt, funny, really good villain, best villain, equally as entertaining, arguably. Fuck, man, this is impossible. Let's try and do a bit of a refreshing here. Yeah, the train battle is also, very good. Man, oh yeah, and there are some good special effects in this one, actually. Yeah, there are some great scenes in this one, man. Damn. Oh yeah, and there's the whole segment of does Peter Parker want to be Spider-Man anymore? And, can he be Spider-Man anymore? That is a really interesting part of it, actually. That scene with raindrops keep falling on my head, that scene is a really good part of the movie. Spider-Man, the original, has so, like, the end, the bridge scene is so good. The opening scene really sets the characters. The Green Goblin is so goddamn good. And, like, it shows Spider-Man learning how to use his powers, and, there's some really goofy parts to it, but again, that just makes it more fun. Like the scene where Peter catches Mary Jane's lunch and where he beats up, can't find a picture for it on this quick Google search, but the scene where he beats up the, Flash Thompson, I think his name is. Yeah, I'm gonna give the award to, the first one. I think the first one is the best movie. It's, ridiculously good, but both are really fun and really entertaining. Both are great movies. Spider-Man 3, I think this is the first one that people will heavily disagree with. I'm gonna put it in B. It's fun. That's the thing. Like, it's not necessarily well made, but it's still a good movie to watch. Like, the screenplay is a mess. The pacing doesn't exist. There's really nothing well done in terms of the writing and portrayal of this film. However, is it funny? Yes. Are there some fairly heartfelt moments? Absolutely. Does this one have probably the best CGI? Yes, the Sandman is done very well. Venom is done very well. The symbiote is done very well. Does it have some of the goofiest moments with, like, what do they call him? Bully Maguire? Yes, but here's the thing. That's meant to be stupid. Like, the Bully Maguire scene is meant to be dumb. That's kind of its purpose. It's meant to show that he's being such a ridiculous idiot. That's the point of it. So I can't really dislike it. It's not the best. It's not great. But it's so good. That makes no sense, but that's exactly how this movie should be described. It is a disaster. It is a disaster of a film. But it's so funny. It's so entertaining. It's so ridiculous, and it still has heartfelt moments. Like when the Sandman at the very end sort of redeems himself or has, like, a bit of a character arc where he's like, he just cares about his daughter. That's a very heartfelt part of the movie. Or Peter's rekindling with Harry. Very good part at the very end. Very good conclusion. Absolutely love the ending of this movie. Yeah, it's really good. I kind of want to put it in A. I feel like I'm lying to myself by putting it in B, because I want to put it in A. A part of me feels like I'm only putting it in B because people are not going to like this. People think this movie sucks, and I totally get it. I absolutely understand it. But fuck me, man. I love this movie. It's A. It's an A tier film. I'm sorry. I love Spider-Man 3. There is nothing I don't like about it. It's so bad. Everything about it that is so bad, I love. And I also like the actual heartfelt moments, the parts that are actually funny, the memes of it, and the villains I really like. The human version of Venom is kind of dopey and a bit too stupid, but, like, Venom looks so cool. Sandman is a great character. Harry is the best he's ever been in this, except for, the whole him being knocked unconscious thing. That's a bit too stupid, a bit kind of like outdoes the build-up of the second one. But, when he comes back and they have, like, the moment where Harry throws the bomb, Peter, and then pulls it back, and it blows up his fucking face. That's a great scene. It really drops your jaw. It's such a good it's a great movie. I love Spider-Man 3. I like all of them. All three are so good. Yep, fuck you guys. Yeah, Spider-Man 3 is an A tier, and the original two are an S tier. Best Spider-Man trilogy. Now we got The Amazing Spider-Man. So here's the thing. People a lot of the time say Andrew Garfield is not a good Spider-Man. I don't agree with that. I think he's still my least favorite. Even if he was in a good movie, he would still be my least favorite. But I don't have any problem with, I used to, but I don't have any problem with him as Spider-Man. Because what I've realized is it has nothing to do with him. Absolutely what's wrong with this movie is nothing to do with the cast. It's everything else. This movie ended up so shit because of everything. The screenplay was bad. The script was bad. The editing was bad. yeah, it's a bad movie. There's a few good shots, a few good scenes, but I don't like how and Andrew Garfield is used in this movie because they make him seem too cool to be Spider-Man. You know, like Spider-Man's always been a dorky guy, not this cool kid. I understand Andrew Garfield is too attractive to be bullied like Tobey Maguire was, but, you know, just write him better, you know? He's sometimes an idiot, sometimes a genius. He's sometimes this really cool guy, and then sometimes he's being picked on. You know, just make him the goofy guy that we all know. Even if it might look a bit weird because he's way too attractive to be bullied by other people in high school. And then his moments with Gwen Stacy, I don't like. I just don't like. People really like that part of it. I don't. It's too cheesy. It's too... This feels like with the original Spider-Man trilogy, it's fun and it's silly. Part of that has to do with the fact that it hasn't aged that great, but it is still funny. Like, it still has some humor. The Amazing Spider-Man has no life. It's like a drama that's not very well written. It's so lifeless. There's no humor. The romance of it is kind of just cringe. The villain is okay, but his idea is fucking stupid to turn everyone into lizards. That's a bit dumb. And how does Peter get caught as Spider-Man by the villain? Because he put his full name on his camera that the lizard finds. It's fucking dumb. It's stupid. I really want to like parts of this, but so much of it is bad. Like, Spider-Man fucking becomes Spider-Man because of revenge. Like, yes, Peter in the original trilogy kills the guy that kills his uncle, but he didn't become Spider-Man because of revenge. He became Spider-Man because with great power comes great responsibility. In The Amazing Spider-Man, he becomes Spider-Man out of revenge. That's it. Nothing else. You can't justify it in any other way. Yeah, in this film, Peter comes off as like a villain almost, because like even before Uncle Ben dies, he's a bit of a dick to them. You know, like Peter in the original trilogy, you know, the whole point of it was, you know, he wasn't listening to his uncle before he died, and that like really hung over his head. But in this one, he's kind of just like an asshole to everyone at all times. It's really weird. Yeah, unfortunately, I have very little good to say about The Amazing Spider-Man, but it won't be an F tier because it has an okay story, it has an okay narrative. What won't be in D tier is The Amazing Spider-Man 2. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 does everything wrong. It's so bad. It introduces Harry Osborn just for him to be slowly dying. He was not mentioned at all in the first one, and then suddenly they're best fucking friends again, and just for him to die. That's his only purpose in it, is to die and then show up, is to be dying and then show up at the end of the movie. The whole point of this was basically just to kill Gwen. Like, that was the whole point of the movie. That's all that happened. And the way they use Peter Parker's parents is terrible. It's awful. Spider-Man breaks a fucking calculator, finds coins in the calculator, takes it to some sort of fucking train station, puts the coins in the train thing where you would normally enter, and a train comes out of the ground, and that's how he finds out that his parents made the spiders, which is something we found out earlier. So Spider-Man finds out that his parents made the spiders long after we do, through him finding a train underground that he accesses through coins that were in a calculator that he just so happened to break. Who wrote this? It's just too fucking dumb. It's so stupid. It doesn't make any sense at all, which I don't like. Like, you can get away with things not making sense a lot of the time. I'm a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, but really? You know, like that's all I can really walk away from. Really? And the villain isn't even good. Like, they redeemed the villain in No Way Home, which we'll talk about at the end, obviously. But The Amazing Spider-Man, how did they get rid of him when he's in Times Square? They get a fucking fire truck and hit him with a fucking hose. They fucking hit him with a bunch of water, and he's fine. He's defeated. And then at the end, what does Gwen do? I don't even remember how she hits him. Does he hit him with a car? I think it's with a car. Let me look it up. I think she hits him with a car. Okay, so the movie doesn't end with Gwen hitting him with a car, but that's how she saves Spider-Man. So she hits him with a fucking car. Just out of nowhere. That's really fucking funny to me. And then obviously Harry becomes Green Goblin for a few minutes just to look extremely ugly. And then he fucking dies. Whatever, I don't care. And then the Rhino shows up at the end to anticipate another film, which didn't come out, which is probably for the best. If The Amazing Spider-Man 3 was done well, now that people really want it, it would have been good now, but it's too late for that. If the same people made a Spider-Man 3, The Amazing Spider-Man 3, it would have been bad, because the problem with those films is the people who made them, which is unfortunate. I'm sure they had a heart in it, but they didn't understand Spider-Man at all, and they just fucking cranked these two out with the blandest content to probably ever be in a Marvel film. From being stupid to being boring, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the worst film on this list. It's like a 2 out of 10 at best. It's bad. Into the Spider-Verse. I know people love Into the Spider-Verse, and don't get me wrong, it's extremely good. But I can't put it that high. Like, it's not going to be instant S tier or anything like a lot of people would do. But it is extremely good. Like, the animation in that is obviously what makes it so... That's what makes it pop out so much. Animation is great. The story is fine. That's where it kind of loses me, honestly. Like, the thing is, the animation is so unbelievably good, and I like that, and the characters are good. But is the story really all that engaging? For me, it wasn't. I didn't find myself all that excited by anything besides the visuals. However, there was some humor to it. There were some funny moments. Miles is a great character. I'm looking forward to the new one. The new one that's going to come out, I think, at the end of this year. I'm not sure. But yeah, like I like all the different Spider people. And I like that John Mulaney was Spider-Ham. I was a big fan of that. I like John Mulaney, and seeing him in a Spider-Man movie was one of the most entertaining things I've ever seen in my entire life. But yeah, I don't know. It wasn't that exciting for me outside its visuals. I didn't really find myself that attached to the story. I didn't find myself being engaged all that much. And not all the characters were really that interesting. Like the anime-esque one was, entertaining because of their existence. But, they didn't serve much of a purpose. Same with like the film noir Spider-Man. Don't know what it was called. Like, again, interesting concept. Very, very interesting. But didn't do all that much for me to be excited by it. And Spider-Ham was just funny because it was John Mulaney. I really like this movie. It looks absolutely fantastic, and it's very fun to sit down and watch. The story, though, I don't really care for as much, but I'm going to put it in A tier. Yes, I'm putting Spider-Man 3 above Into the Spider-Verse. Are you mad? I don't care. I'm putting Spider-Man 3 above Into the Spider-Verse. One of them is way more fun to watch. Yeah, Into the Spider-Verse, good movie. Absolutely looking forward to the sequel. But it really does stand on its visuals. It stands on its animation, which is a very important thing, but everything else is important too. So I can't put it at S, personally, but it's a great film. Spider-Man Homecoming is where we get into some more things that people will disagree with. I don't like Homecoming. It's very boring. It's so boring. Nothing about it interested me at all. It's so boring. It's not as boring as... I was going to say it's not as boring as The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but no, it's about on par in terms of excitement. It's way better still, don't get me wrong, it's way better, but it's not that much more fun to watch. The villain just sucks. There's nothing fun about the villain, and I just didn't like it. Like, this moment just felt like the train scene, but not as good. This scene, I know people really like, I just didn't care for it. Everything about Spider-Man's actual personal life I didn't really care about. I just don't care about this movie at all. I just don't give a shit about it. It's so dull. It just didn't excite me at all, honestly. Yeah, I just don't care about this movie. It's C tier. It's fine. It's better than the Amazing Spider-Man movies, but it's not that exciting. I don't care about this movie at all. And then we got No Way Home, which I like way more than Homecoming. Mysterio, bro, the fucking special effects with Mysterio was insane. Like, the fucking weird, wacky, acid-like effects. It was so good. It was so fucking fun to watch. It was so cool. And I like Jake Gyllenhaal, or Gyllenhaal, whichever the fuck it is. Mr. Jake. I'm gonna call him Gyllenhaal. I think it's Jake Gyllenhaal. If it's not, fuck you, I don't care. Yeah, I think Jake Gyllenhaal was great because that's the thing about Jake Gyllenhaal is he absolutely seems like he would play the hero. but even if he doesn't, he still does a good job at it. I think that's what makes, like, I knew into this that Mysterio was going to be the villain because I knew who Mysterio was from the comics. Again, not that into the comics, but I knew of Mysterio because of the comics. But if someone didn't know of that, which is probably a lot of people, Mysterio was very underused prior to this point. I can absolutely see how they would think Jake Gyllenhaal was a hero, but you would still be like, something isn't right. That would obviously be happening. Yeah, it's a great movie. I really like it. I think the villain is fantastic. I think the story is fantastic with the glasses and how they have to, and how Peter falls for, what's his real name? I don't care. Mysterio's tricks. Yeah, it's a really interesting storyline, and the use of Nick Fury is also very good. That's his name, right? I hope that's his name. And obviously the end with him being, with Mysterio revealing that Spider-Man was Peter Parker. Great ending. Great way to end it, because it obviously rolled into the next movie, which is a pretty fucking important movie if you don't know. Yeah, this is a good one. This is a good one. Good villain, good story. Like the characters. I think the characters were done way better than in Homecoming. It introduces MJ, or I don't know if it introduced her, but I think it was the first time that, like, I can't remember if MJ was in the first one, but regardless, this is where she became important. Good movie. It's a good movie. I'm going to put it in between Spider-Verse and Spider-Man 3. Yes, Spider-Man 3 I'm putting above No Way Home and Into the Spider-Verse. Are you mad? I don't care. Fuck you. And finally, we got Spider-Man No Way Home. I loved No Way Home. I absolutely adored it. Seeing Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, even if I didn't like The Amazing Spider-Man that much, seeing both of them in it was so fucking cool. Seeing the old villains come back, so fucking cool, so nostalgic, so exciting. I loved it so much. I was so happy to see the references. I was so happy to see the characters. And what I liked about it was, although it's fan service, like it is, don't you dare try to tell me this was just something really cool they had in mind. They at no point thought, let's get people to watch this through fan nostalgia and shit. They absolutely intended that. But even though they did that, that didn't actually damage the quality of the film at any point, because it's still really well done. The story is still really well done. The story is amazing. And I fucking loved it. I loved every second of it. I thought the story was great. I thought the characters were so well done. I thought they treated every character just how I would want them to be treated. It was perfect, honestly. It was a perfect movie. However, does that mean it deserves to be at the top? I don't necessarily think so, because the only reason it was as exciting as it was is because of the two movies that are currently at the top. I was very excited by Doc Ock in No Way Home, but that's only because of Spider-Man 2. I was very excited by The Green Goblin, but that's only because of Spider-Man 1. And I was very excited about Tobey Maguire, but that's only because of the original trilogy. I was very excited by the references, but that's only because of the original trilogy. So can I give it that much credit? It's hard to say. If you erase the fan service and shit, it's still high up, because again, they treated this film very, very well. But does it outdo these in any way? Well, in any way, yes. In ways, it does. Is it the best, though? That's hard. It did do everything that I would have wanted it to do. I gotta give it that credit. It did everything I could have asked for. Everything I could have asked for. Making Doc Ock good again. Making Willem Dafoe even scarier. They used Electro so well. They used Doctor Strange so well, and the multiverse so well. And it was such a good ending, too. And it was so much more emotional than the other two, which I really appreciated. Damn, man. They did everything I could have asked for. So yeah, based on this, if I were to purely base this on nostalgia, 1 and 2 would still be at the top. Those are special movies to me. No Way Home is a special movie, but it's not special in the same way. So, like, in my heart, these two are probably always going to be the best. But I think No Way Home has earned its spot as the best Spider-Man movie. So that is the tier list. We didn't end up putting anything in B tier because I think everything in A deserves to be in A, and I do not think Homecoming deserves to be in B. So yeah, we didn't end up using the B tier at all, which it's fine. It's a tier list. Don't have to use every tier technically. So yeah, this is how I would rank every Spider-Man film. Yeah, I don't see any problems with this at all. Again, the top tier, whether or not that's sorted from best to worst is like a debate in my head, and I could go back and forth on that. But I think this is fair. I think this is reasonable. Again, Spider-Man 3 might be too high for some of you, but I really do not care in the slightest. Yeah, I love Spider-Man, one of my favorite characters in all of fiction. I absolutely adore the character. I think it's one of the most well-written characters in all of Marvel and all of comic book shit. It's a great character, and I love the character a lot. And a lot of my favorite villains are from these movies, and a lot of fantastic moments throughout, especially the original trilogy. Yeah, I love these movies. Well, most of them. 6 out of 9 ain't bad. Yeah, that's going to be all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite Spider-Man movie is. Let me know how much you hate Spider-Man 3, because I know that's going to be coming. But too bad. I don't care. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my main channel if you haven't for whatever reason. That's going to be all for me today. Thank you for watching. See you next time.